I am not supposed to be speaking to you. I am supposed to be dead. He said, man of God, what are you going to do? And for the first time I realized I didn't have a plan. And in January 1992, I made that courageous decision to go and have an HIV test. I reached there, I took the HIV test after being cancelled, and I had to wait for 2 weeks before I could get results. These days, you are lucky you get your results maybe on the same day when you test. But that time we had to wait for 2 weeks. When I came back, of course, the results confirmed my worst fears. I was HIV positive. But I remember this man asked me a question somehow in a mocking way. I don't know whether he really was serious or whether he was just mocking me, but he said, man of God, what are you going to do? And for the first time I realized actually I didn't have a plan on how I was going to handle the HIV. But I remember telling him, Counselor, I don't know what I'm going to do, but the God who created me will give me guidance on what to do. The first challenge I had was, do I keep quiet with this information or do I tell people? I had the choice of keeping quiet, but I was saying now, you are a leader, you are a lecturer, you are a pastor. How do people say, how are you? And you say, I'm fine, when actually I'm not fine. How do you tell people to pray for you, for general prayers, when actually you have something you could be prayed for, very specifically? And so I made a decision that however painful it will be, I will tell people, I will share about my status.
As a result of his expanding ministry, Gideon has been able to help the church better understand some issues of HIV/AIDS, sex, and sexuality.
Now that is the confusion in Christian circles. There is people are confused about lawful sex and safe sex. And every time a person says I'm positive, positive equals unlawful sex. And unlawful sex means either outside marriage or before marriage. So you are condemned even before you speak. There is confusion between a spiritual message and a public health message. Now, one of the things that pain me as a priest is that I wed couples, some girls who have taken trouble to abstain from sex for all their life. And on Saturday, we usually wed on Saturdays, I don't know here how, but on Saturday, when I lift my hands and say, now you have been faithful in little things, and God now has trusted you with bigger things. Be fruitful, beginning with this night, and multiply. That night, the woman picks infection. That night, it really pains me. I've been crying to God to help people see that it doesn't mean that if you have not had sex before or outside marriage, then you are free from HIV, or you are automatically saved from infection. No. This virgin gets lawful sex in marriage, but it is unsafe what? Sex. First day, first night, first sex, infection.
My husband and I did not know anything about condoms, and we did not use them. We always thought they were used by prostitutes. Reverend Gideon taught us about condoms. He told us that if you use condoms to save your life and not just for sleeping around, then it is not wrong. Because of what we had heard before, especially in church, we had always thought that condoms were immoral. Now, I know that if you have unprotected sex, even if you are married, you can reinfect your partner with the virus.
Sometimes when the house was on fire, you tend to think that if I can fetch one more bucket, probably this fire can die down. The only way you can slow down is if many more people come with the buckets and begin throwing together with you water in the fire. And then you can say, yeah, I can now slow down, because even if I don't throw the bucket, 10 more buckets are being thrown on the fire. And I would gladly, if you know, when I see all around me people talking about AIDS, people doing a lot about AIDS, people willing to sacrifice and volunteer their time, why should I overspend myself? But it's this idea of, you know, you reach a church and you ask them what you are doing about AIDS, you know, you don't find any program. You ask a person, have you ever tested for HIV? No. Have you ever stopped having sex? No. Is there a way you do your sex in a way so that it doesn't infect someone or you infect yourself? No. Then you say, now, if I keep quiet, really, where are we heading?